So this is the agenda for today's lunch and introductions. We always start with that. And we will have little bit time, we'll spend a little bit time on overview of general leadership or conventional leadership, if you will. And then we'll go deeper into agile leadership. And then we'll see how one can transform from conventional to agile leadership. At the end, before Q&A, we'll have a quiz, and the winner will get a prize. And the quiz will be from what I covered. The questions in the quiz are what I'm going to talk today. So if you are paying attention, then you may win the quiz. Okay. All right, let's move on. So the very first thing, what are your expectations from this webinar? So let me go to the Menti, and if you have attended my earlier webinars, it's pretty straightforward. So go to menti.com and enter this code, and you should be good. And then you can start typing. So what are your expectations? It takes little, I know it takes little time to, yeah, it takes little time to type that. And you can use your phone or tablet or computer, whatever way you can get, maybe nowadays watch, Apple Watch. Learn from your experiences, learn more about leading and being agile. Very good, excellent. Learn more about agile leadership. Very good. What else? Hear about recent agile leadership best practice. Okay, very good. Leadership best practices. Knowing what is conventional leadership. Okay, very good. How agile is different. So I mean, you're saying how agile leadership is different. This was an interesting topic, so wanted to attend and hear. Okay, very good. Hear about transitioning to, okay. Influencing leadership from team structure, Mr. Master level. Very good. I think this is excellent. Difference between the two, although should be similar in my opinion. Okay, ideas. Yeah, I think you will learn that there are a lot of differences. Ideas I can implement. Very good.
Non, tu peux faire la photocopie sur la voie quelque part, non?
Okay, all right. So I muted all of you because some noise was coming. If you want to speak, raise your hand and I will unmute you. All right, let's go back to, let's go back. So this is my introduction. Many of you who are attending, who have attended in the past know about me. I'm CEO consultant with RefineM. That's my company that has started in December 2011. We are going to complete 10 years in this December. Yeah, that's yay. We survived for 10 years. That's a great achievement, I believe, for somebody who started a very new company from scratch. So what I do, or what the company does, is agile transformation coaching, project management, process improvements, and we have several products that I created during these last 10 years, and you see some of them here. And before I started my company, I worked in different organizations in the project management realm, and did what many of you do. So it's not something uncommon. So what's happening at RefineM? We do webinars every month. So the two upcoming webinars in December, we will review the project management. How did project management do in 2021? And then in January, we will look forward. So in December, we are doing kind of retrospective, looking backwards. or reflecting backwards. And then in 2022, January, we will see what's coming in the future and how we need to make any changes or adjustments for the future. And of course, then you have, as I was talking about, we developed different products and self-paced online trainings that are offered. So if you want to utilize any one of them, more than welcome. So let's talk about leadership. Okay, that's why we are here. So let's talk about leadership. So I would like to hear from you. Then we will get into definition of leadership. Somebody is asking what is conventional leadership. So that's what we're talking about. And then we will also talk a little bit about what is the difference between leadership and management. That question comes multiple times. So let's go here and let me ask you, from your perspective, what do you think? What is leadership? What do you mean by leadership? So think a little bit if you want to, or if you have your answer ready, you can type in what is leadership. Anyone? Leadership is guiding others to deliver on objectives. Okay, ability to guide people to some end result, defining overall goals and enabling teams. Very good. Being the lighthouse within a storm, okay. Support and inspiration. Supporting, servicing the team needs. What else? Working with others to achieve a goal, not being afraid to get into the weeds when necessary, modeling the behavior you expect of others, motivating people. Very good. Anybody else? Okay, let's move on. So this is what we did. What is leadership? In my view, it's difficult to define because of varying expectations, and there are some definitions, and I will share some of those definitions with you. The only definition of a leader is someone who has followers. So if you don't have followers, you are not a leader. Okay, so that's as per Peter Drucker. And leadership is the capacity to translate vision to reality. That's another thought from Warren Bennis. And I have one more, Wikipedia. The ability of individual to lead or guide other individuals, team, or entire organization. Some of this you expressed in your thoughts. Like this is what, in other words, you expressed. So the ability for individual to lead or guide other individuals, or leader is someone who has followers. So this is the definition of a leader. Multiple definitions. You can take these and combine into one, like Wikipedia did, or you can have your own. That's perfectly all right. But let's see what leaders really do. Okay. So what they do, the very first thing is they get results. That's the most important thing. They get results. If they don't get, then why they are leaders? They get results. They provide inspiration and motivation, as some of you were talking about. They inspire others. They motivate others, and align team to a vision. So they have a vision, and then they align team to that vision. So alignment part is what the leaders will do. What else? Can anybody think of anything else that leaders will do? Get results is my favorite. So that's most important thing, that they get results. They do alignment, they inspire and motivate. So what's the difference between manager and a leader? So leader sets the vision, align people to that vision, and inspires and energizes people. In a nutshell, that's what primarily leaders conventional way they do. A manager is a little different. Managers plan works, they create plans, they organize people, planning, organizations, and problem solving. Those are the key traits of a manager. Now, you may be thinking, I have seen people who do both. Well, there are people who can be manager and leader both. So that's not uncommon. But as a role, a leader is who sets vision, align people to that vision, and inspire and motivate or energize people. And the manager is somebody who is planning, organizing, and solving problems. Those are the key differentiation between a leader and a manager. And so some more differences in that context. So managers helps team cope with complexity, complex problem solving. If you heard of that, complex problem solving, that's what managers are supposed to be doing. And then leaders help team to cope with change. So changes, that is where leaders help teams. Managers set plan and budget, leaders set vision and direction. Managers organize and staff team, leaders align team to vision. Managers solves problems, inspire, and leaders inspire a team. So those are the key differentiators between managers and leaders. Does anybody has any questions? We will use the chat box to ask if anybody has any questions. Leader produce change and movement. Managers produce order. Very good. Yeah, live. Very good. I think that's the kind of thing that I'm also talking about here. So feel free to express your comments or your ideas in the chat box. Later on we'll have a Q&A session, and we can have some conversation during that time as well. So let's move on. If you don't have any questions, then okay, let's move on. Okay, let's see what else. That's what was the next one. Leaders also mentor people. Okay, very good. McCall Communications. I think you typed your name earlier. If you can go and change your name, I think that will be great. But I see here McCall Communication LLC. So what is agile leadership? So we talked about leadership in general or conventional, what I call it. So what's the difference? What is agile leadership? And we are going to spend quite a bit of time on this. So let me first get your thoughts. So go to Menti and let's talk about what does agile leadership mean to you. Many of you are familiar with agile. Some of you are Scrum Masters, some of you are project managers managing agile project or agile engagements. So what do you change need leaders? Yeah, that is right. That's what we are talking about, Negi. The leaders enable change, whereas managers plan and execute and organize. So what is the agile leadership? No idea. Okay, very good. Servant leadership. Yeah, servant leadership is a type of agile leadership. What else? Any member of agile team can be a leader. Okay. Anybody else? What agile leadership mean to you? Addressing issues team may face. Okay. A shift in mindset to drive decision down to the team. Willingness to allow failures. Very good. Very good. Change leadership style based on the project and okay. Leading organization into agility, being flexible, guiding and supporting agile teams. As an agile leader, your responsibility is to plan and lead with short sprints. Very good. Good thoughts. Very, very good thoughts. Excellent. Anything else? Okay. Let's move here. So agile leader, here's some definitions. Let's look at each one of them. True agile leaders are inclusive, democratic leaders who exhibit a great openness to ideas and innovation. So if you have read about conventional leadership or leadership styles, so there are 6 different leadership styles, and one of them is democratic. One of the leadership styles is democratic. The person who ask the team, get consensus from the team. So those are the leaders who practice democratic leadership style. In addition to that, that are inclusive. Inclusive means including everybody into whatever need to be done. Inclusive means include everybody. They don't just say command and control kind of thing. Include everybody. They are more collaborative. So democratic, who exhibit a greater openness to ideas and innovation. Open, flexible, innovative. Those are the kind of word comes to my mind. So that is one way of looking at it. Other is agile leader, a person who fosters agile ways of thinking and working. And agile ways of thinking and working is very different than conventional ways of thinking and working. And this can be done only if the agile leader has transformed himself. His or her mindset is aligned to the agile values and principles. So that leader can be the one who can foster agile ways of thinking with others, because his mindset is transformed. He's now thinking like agile. So he will be the one who can create an environment where team can do their best. And he will be the one who can champion agile throughout their organization. So I really like this definition, actually both the definitions. Where agile leader is one who adapts, somebody who is flexible. Adaptability is a core principle of agile, responding to the changes, being adaptable, being flexible. So these are some of the things that can hint you towards what is agile leadership, some of the definitions. And we will dig deeper into these. Before we dig deeper, I wanted to provide this context to you. It took me some time to create this picture. And you basically, in agile context, you will hardly see this picture. Okay. So this is a picture of this is a picture of an iceberg. What you see over the water are the things like ceremonies, tools, metrics, process, methods, frameworks. That is how teams normally start. So there will be somebody in the team who will be leading it, and he or she will come, okay, let's implement agile. And they will start doing some of we want to implement Scrum, we want to implement Kanban, all those kind of things. Or they may hire a coach from outside, and coach will come and start with this. Okay. So this is something that is seen, that everybody sees. But the 90% of agile leadership or agile transformation is below the water. below the water, where you see things like culture, safe environment, servant leadership, team structures. A very big thing here. I have seen that the team structures don't change. So the shared resources continue. And the more sharing, if an organization has a more sharing of resources, one person works on 3, 4, 5, 6 projects. Okay. Then guess what? That person has to attend 6 stand-ups, 6 retros, 6 planning, 6 reviews, 6 sign. No. And then we hear the complaint that I am in meeting all day. I do not have time to work. How can they have time to work? So the agile implementation actually becomes counterproductive in that environment. It put stress on everybody. The team structure need to change. It should be all 100% dedicated people in a team. So instead of making and breaking teams like we have been doing, the team should stay together. The work should flow. The work should flow. And I will talk later on managing work instead of managing people. That's an agile leadership aspect. So culture is definitely, what is culture? Culture is doing the way things are done, the way people behave, the way people, everyday work is carried on. That's culture. And that has to change from whatever that was to agile, which is team empowerments, continuous learning, transparency, fail fast. Those are not easy things to do. Those are and the 90% that you are seeing at the bottom, that cannot be done without agile leadership. First of all, the leaders have to understand all of this. They need to know what these things are. And then they can create an environment where these things can flourish. The things on the top of the iceberg, they need to happen. There's no doubt about it. They need to happen. But if the things at the bottom are not changed, then the teams are not going to go anywhere. They're not going to go anywhere. In fact, it may create more problems than solving problems. And it is the leadership job to make sure the below the water things are taken care of. The culture, the structure, the environment, agile mindset, all that part here at the bottom, below the water, is something that that's very important. And in most of the agile transformation, this is missed. They talk about, culture, they talk about agile mindset, they talk about all that, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So it doesn't happen. That is what is most important thing. So I wanted to provide this context before we start talking about this. This is the area where agile leadership is crucial. Very, very good. Think about the leaders are the one who bring in change, who deal with the change. And we are talking about the change. Okay, we're talking about a change, and not a small change. Below the water is the real change. Right? Below the water is the real change. Okay, let's move on. So what are the things that an agile leader should be doing? So very first thing, making customer satisfaction as number one priority. Because in agile, that's what is the thing, the number one principle. There are 12 principles of agile, right? There are 4 values that are from manifesto, and then 12 principles. And very first principle of agile is satisfy customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Right? That's number one principle. So customer satisfaction is the topmost priority, and many leaders, yeah, that's our topmost priority. We make sure our customers are satisfied, but they may not have any system in place to demonstrate that. They may not have any, maybe, many organizations have customer surveys that happen once a year. What is the use of that once a year survey? That itself is not agile. We want to get feedback from our customers quickly, right? We want to do reviews with them. We want to do demos with them. If we want to do a survey, we want to do survey with them, how they feel about what's going on, and are we delivering value to them or not? And what I have seen is a very simple survey using Net Promoter Score method is very effective. It's a one question survey. On the one question is on a scale of 1 to 10, how strongly you will recommend us to others. And they give some rating on the basis of that. I don't want to get into that. You calculate the NPS. And if NPS is improving, that's a demonstration of that your customer satisfaction is improving. So that's the very, very first thing, very sharp focus on customer satisfaction, not only by saying, but also by demonstrating. In agile world, in my opinion, the coaching that I do, I'm always focused on demonstrating outcomes, demonstrating that the things are improving, and whatever goal the team and organization has, maybe time to market, quality, throughput, customer satisfaction, employee engagement, whatever is there, whatever they are trying to do, improvement, showing continuous improvement is very important. One is that the behaviors of the team is changing, and you measure with agility score. You measure with agility score, you can have some way of measuring, agile maturity and all those kind of things. That's how the team is behaving. But then what kind of results they are producing, these are two different things. So it is important to measure both. It is important to measure the agile maturity of the team, so you know which areas are lacking and what the team need to improve upon. But it is also important to measure real business and operational outcomes. Customer satisfaction being number one. That's the topmost. So that's where the number one priority for agile leaders should be. So there is a question, will these slides be? Yes, you registered for this, so you will get the copy of this slide deck. Yes. The other thing, prioritization. This is my favorite one, prioritization. Conventionally, the prioritization has, if you have 50 things, 50 projects at, let's say, at the senior leadership level or any level of leadership. So if there are 50 things, then normally you'll say, okay, this 10 are high priority, this 20 are medium priority, this 20 are low priority. That's a conventional prioritization. The agile prioritization is numbering them from 1 to n. There cannot be more than one number one priority. There cannot be. And if you have 10 of those, that creates lots of confusion. Lot of confusion. What is high? Oh, this is also high. This is also high. This is also high. That's not agile leadership. That's the key difference here. The agile leadership should be provide a very high level of clarity on prioritization. And of course, the customer has to agree for that, and that those and the roles like product owner, Scrum Master, and other roles, in the organization, they are all part of that agile leadership. So prioritization is extremely important. Do we work on customer projects, or do we work on stabilizing the environment? These are the questions that happen, that team faces all the times. Do we work on technical debt? How much of the work we should carry on technical debt, and how much we should work on new requirements? That's a constant battle that happens. And the true agile leader will be able to provide a very clear direction where there is no more than one number one priority. 1, 2, 3, 4, 50, very clear. So if you have less resources than what you can put on all those 50 things, then you basically do only what is your whatever capacity you have. Okay, so I think that is very important. In some organizations, the senior leadership should also be responsible to make sure that the product owners who are tasked to do prioritization, they are skilled and trained. They're skilled to do this, and they are trained to do this. So that's very, very important. The second aspect of agile leadership. The third aspect is creating a self-managed empowered teams. And this is another very hard thing. Very hard thing. Whatever I have told you two, and this third one is very hard thing. Let the control go. That doesn't happen so easily. Remove barriers. Work with the team. Figure out where the blockers are. Remove those blockers. Encourage team to solve problems. Don't solve for them. No, don't solve for them. And the last one here, very important, manage work, not them. Manage work, decide which work has high priority, which work should be done first and which work should be done later. And let the team figure out how they are going to do it. Don't try to organize them. Don't try to figure out the assign work to them. Let them figure out. And I have seen the teams that are empowered, they actually end up delivering more. They end up delivering more. Once you set up that clarity of work, what work is more important and what work is less important, and prioritizing them, managing that work, but not people. So creating self-managed empowered teams where there is no control, they don't have any control, and they manage the work and let people, self-manage the work. The leaders don't manage the work. The leaders manage the work, they don't manage the teams. Okay, creating a safe environment. That's another very, very important thing, that where people can talk freely. Take the role of a facilitator. Make sure everyone's voice is heard in stand-ups, retrospectives, reviews, whatever are the opportunities. Many times it happens that when you do these, ceremonies, if there are 10 people, you will see maybe 2 or 3 talk a lot. 2 or 3 talk a lot, maybe 3 or 4 don't talk at all. And there are others in between. So maybe they don't feel, the people who are not talking, they don't feel it is safe. And make sure, so leader has to make sure it is safe. It is not a punitive environment. If you said something that is not liked by the leader and liked by somebody else, then there are consequences. That should not be there. I have seen this in one of my coaching engagements, that one of the organization, within the entire organization, was the culture of punishment was there. Like if you did something wrong, you can even lose your job. So in those environments, how people will speak up freely? and people will be very risk averse. They will not experiment. Whereas experimentation is one of the key aspects of agile. Experiment, fail faster. You might have heard about that. So if the fail faster environment is not created, if somebody fails and you get punished, that's not the right culture. That's not the right environment. This is the below the water thing that I'm talking about. Right? This is below the water thing that I'm talking about. So create a safe environment. That's another agile leadership aspect. Welcome changes, adaptability, responding to the changing needs of business, customers, environment, or whatever. Make sure the customers also agree with the updated priorities. So if there was a change, there'll be a change in priority, and make sure that the customer agrees with those changes and they are fine with those changes. So that's another important aspect of agile leadership, is to have a welcoming change mindset. And that is also hard transition, because for years what we have been doing is resist the change. Whenever there is a change, there is a change order, there is a change control board, just making the change difficult, right? Discouraging the change. But in agile world, change is encouraged, welcomed. So that mindset the leader should also have, that changes are fine. Changes are fine. So that's another aspect. And then transparency, creating a culture of transparency where everyone knows what's going on. There's nothing hidden from anybody. There is nothing like, the team doesn't know, the leaders know, only know it. Everything is very, very transparent. What we are doing, why we are doing, and what's the purpose of this. And if anything changes, then that change is communicated very quickly. So that's about the agile leadership part, to creating a culture of transparency, making sure everybody feels empowered to share their concern, and the information is available easily. All the information is available easily. So using those information radiators. So make sure that everything is transparent, everybody knows what's going on, information is freely shared, and it's not hidden from anybody. People have access to that information whenever they need to know about a particular thing. And servant leadership, no control, facilitating, not managing. Facilitating, allowing people to have conversation, allowing people to express their opinions, and then from that facilitation, maybe guiding them as well. Okay? Helping teams solve problem, not solve for them, but guide them. And this is one of the things that agile leaders will do, that they will not solve problem for the team. Rather, what they will, they may throw some scenarios. Okay, if we did this, then these are the pros and cons. If we did this, these are the pros and cons. If we did this, these are the pros and cons. And then from that, let the team figure out what they want to do. And once the team has decided what they want to do, then stand by with them, support them, make them, and help them to achieve what they decided or what they agreed to do. So that's a servant leadership, is helping team do whatever they want to do. Make sure you're helping, not hurting. Right? That's the part of servant leadership. So those are some 5 or 6 traits that I talked about, and each one of them is very different if you look at conventional leadership. So now, transforming from conventional to agile leadership, what need to happen? So this you can see as a summary of what I just talked about. Prioritize. So in conventional leadership, you do prioritization high, medium, low, to 1 to n. each one should have its own priority. Each item, each project, if it is portfolio management, then each project. And there will not be more than one project that has number one priority or number two priority or whatever. Okay, command and control to empower teams to be self-managing. Another hard thing to to transform. Managing people to managing work. And I was actually, this was a very interesting conversation that I had with one of the managers who was present in my workshop from a company. So I was talking about this, managing people to managing work. So he said, if I don't manage people, then I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay. So I said, okay, if you see your 1 week, how much time goes in managing people or so I have to explain what is the meaning of managing work to him. He said about 50% time in, figuring out who is going to do what and all that. So I said, if you don't have to do that 50%, let team do it. What you're going to do in that 50%? I don't know. I may not do anything. Okay. First, those were the initial reactions, but very soon, within a few minutes, he said, maybe I will go and check how my people are doing. Are they feeling okay? Are they doing all right? Do they need any help? I said, that's what is the transformation we are talking about. Okay, that's what we are talking about. Taking care of people, not managing them, managing work, make sure if somebody says, I get confused about the priorities. Well, take that input, go back and figure it out how you remove that confusion. Okay. So those are the kind of things that the agile leaders will do. Another one, as I was talking about, this is for the mostly not at the operational level, not the managers, but this is at the senior leadership, SVP, VP leadership, moving from shared resources to fully dedicated end-to-end teams. So that's what if the leadership is able to move from shared resources to fully dedicated team, that's a trait of agile leadership. So agile leadership will work towards moving from shared resources environment to fully dedicated teams. And because they know that fully dedicated teams are much, much more productive than shared teams. We all know that, right? We all know that. We might have seen some statistics also how productivity falls as a person increases multitasking. If he starts working on multiple projects, focus on higher utilization, like we want everybody to be 100% loaded, right? Versus focus on throughput. What the team is producing, don't care who is working or how much and all that. Don't care about that. Focus on how the throughput can be what is the output or throughput of the team? How do we increase that rather than loading everybody? Okay. And that goes with managing people aspect too. So don't worry about it. Focus on throughput. So if you say, okay, these many number of story points we delivered in last, or these many items we delivered in the last week, month, or whatever that is, how can we increase that? Have a conversation with the team about it. Because that is what matters. It doesn't matter whether people are 100% or 200% or 50% utilized. What matters is what they are delivering. Customer, because that is what customer is getting, right? So I think these are some of the things that are transforming from conventional to agile leadership. And some of the things that they have to unlearn, controlling behaviors. That is the very, very difficult thing. It is so deep rooted. It is very difficult to give up the controlling behaviors. Managing teams, people, another thing that has been carried out for years. Conventional prioritization and 100% utilization versus shared resources and shared resources. These are the things that have to be undone, unlearned. to become an agile leader. Okay, so let's go to Menti again and see what kind of anti-agile leadership behaviors that you see in your organization. So you talked about agile leadership traits and some anti-agile leadership traits also. What you have seen in your organization? Anyone? Yeah, high medium, very common. Very common. Lack of transparency, very common. Micromanagement, very common. Scrum manager providing timelines, yeah, very common. Control versus fail fast, shared resources, yeah, all of that. Now you're seeing what I'm talking about, right? Now you're seeing these, what I'm talking about, the difference between conventional and agile leadership, not utilizing lessons learned, micromanagement. Excellent. I think you're getting it. Very good. Very good. So let's move on. So in conclusion, and I have a couple of other things that the quiz is there. So conventional to agile leadership, a shift in thinking. You need to start with yourself and work out to your team and organization. So that's the first thing about agile leadership. Start from you. Okay. The reward is agile leadership that helps produce value faster. Okay. Now let's go to the Menti, and we will have a quiz. Okay. So let me start that quiz. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. There are 5 people have joined so far. We are about 22 participants. I expect maybe about 60-70% folks will join it. So there are 5 questions only. There are not many questions. So we have 10 people who have joined so far. Okay, just another 30 seconds. And the quiz should finish in less than 5 minutes, or maybe 5 minutes, not more. Okay, so I'm starting now. Let's start. So, and questions will come. You have to answer and answer them fast. So if you answer fast, you get more score versus less score. If you answer wrong, you get 0. And then the system will tally all those scores. Okay, so here you go. So answer fast to get more points. Okay, so most of you said it right. Let's say who did it fast. Okay, there is a great race. Okay, so Brandy is the fastest one. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on that iceberg with you. So how to join Menti, you see on the top, Cindy, go to menti.com and use the code. Okay, oh wow, everybody was absolutely all right. Okay, but let's see who was the fastest. Okay, so Brandy seems to be still leading. Okay, Brandy, good job, Brandy. Okay, now another question here, question number 3 here. Wow, futuristic leadership, what is that? I don't know. Okay, well, all right, very good. Some more people have joined, seems like. There is going to be some change here now, I can see that. Yeah, Scott is leading now. Now the race is becoming tighter. So this is the 4th question you have. This may be confusing. Yeah, okay. There's still a lot of you got it right. Okay. So let's see the score now. There's going to be some change here. Let's see that. No? Okay, Sunil is chasing well. Okay, Sunil. Okay, let's see. This is the last question. Let's see if somebody from the bottom can come and beat Scott. Let's see that. Okay, so many of you are right. Let's see what's the score here. Okay, Scott, you are the winner. Congratulations. Send me an email and with your email address, and I'll send you the details. You get access to one of these products, whatever you like. I have 6 products here that you can use, or you get one of those, whatever is your choice. Okay, so next Lunch and Learn is about review of 2021 on December 5. This is the way to claim the PDU, but make sure that you do it by end of November, because we are going to delete this and have December code. Okay, let's have questions. We have a couple of minutes left, and I will unmute everybody. Let's see if I can do. Okay, so you should be able to unmute yourself, or if you want to just type in the chat box over here. Any questions? Yeah, I'm seeing you are able to unmute. Anybody has any questions? Yeah, Brandy, you will get the slide deck, and I can actually take you back there as well. And we have some of these trainings coming up. Here is the slide, but you will get the slide deck too. So you don't have to write it, you will get the slide deck, and you should be able to claim the PDUs. And these are some of our trainings coming up. If you are interested, we have a lot of agile related training, backlog, grooming, business requirement for agile project, agile for waterfall and operational work, and several. Okay. Anybody has any questions? Thank you. Okay, Sunil is saying thank you. Very good.
NK, question.
Yes.
This is Scott.
Yes, Scott.
So a couple people on the challenges that they've run into, micromanagement was mentioned, prioritization, and some other things. What in 1 minute or less, what would you recommend people do that are facing that in their organization? Is it just more training on those people? Is it coaching them on what to do?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. It's basically training and coaching, helping them understand what agile means and how empowering team is going to help. And leaving command and control is not conducive for team progress as an agile team. Yeah, I think more like more coaching, I guess. More coaching.
We'll share this recording with them.
It was a very low voice. Somebody is a Scott?
Oh yeah, I said I'll share the recording of the webinar with them.
Yeah, sure. And webinar recording will be available to you in next, I think, 3-4 days. You will get a notification that recording is ready. And even if you don't get notification, you go to RefineM's YouTube channel. We store all recordings there. So it's if you go to YouTube and search for RefineM, and you can get to our channel, and everything is there on that. This recording will be there, uploaded there in next 3-4 days. All previous webinar recordings are also there. You can watch them. You can get 1 PDU for watching a webinar. So those are all available. There are about 30-40 recordings already there. Yep. Yeah, sure. I think, Scott, you can share those with some micromanagers. It's a hard change. It's a hard change, but it can come with coaching and training and all those kind of thing. One-on-one coaching is actually very helpful. Okay. Does anybody else has any questions? All right. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something today that you can utilize. Thank you very much.